everyone. Hi, She Fam. We are here for our August meeting, and I hope by the time you're seeing this, we'll actually be well into the meeting, and I hope you're setting amazing goals and going to crush it this month. So I'm Shelly.
Hey, I'm Heather.
And we have our speaker, which we are so excited for to join us today.
I am going to introduce you to my friend Ratisha Smith here, you guys. She and I met just a few months ago at a community event, and we just clicked and have since started exercising together in the wee hours of the morning. And I just found out that I'm getting up at 4:45 to come meet her to walk at 5:30, and she's already been up almost an hour ahead of me. So I've got some things to do to catch up, but that's because she is successful and has that millionaire mindset, and she is going to be giving us some fantastic information today. She has a technology company?
Technology company.
Okay, and it is called Quad22 Technologies. Because this woman is brilliant, you guys. And she also has a nonprofit because not only is she brilliant, she just has a heart, that's even bigger than her brain. And that is called Q22 Foundation. And she does mentoring and teaching of at-risk youth, and also teaches at-risk youth to code and things like that. She also has a child on the spectrum like I do. And so she's a single mom. So she's just doing all the things like so many of us are doing.
Everything
and she's killing it. Yeah, exactly. And as you can probably tell, you're not going to be surprised, she used to model, and so she's just got all of it. She's got the brains and the heart and the beauty, and she's giving her time to us. Yeah. So welcome, Ratisha.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess a good place to get started would be just to hear how you get started with your business. A lot of the women in our group, we are fairly new to the business world. We've been in business maybe a couple years, and there's a large number of us who actually have great ideas, but we haven't gotten started yet. So we just don't know where to start. So we would love to hear how you thought up your business idea, how you got started, and bring us to where you are now.
Okay, so just to give you a background of my company, my business is Quad22 Technologies, which is a small business woman-owned company that provides information technology and management support to the private and public sector. We usually specialize in IT services that addresses a common challenges of software engineer, architecture, system integration, and quality assurance. And so we try to migrate these obstacles by leveraging cutting edge technology and repeatable process that will allow our clients to be able to adapt to the changing world. We also have a center focus on small businesses to try to get small businesses up and going and build out their IT structure. So what's led me to start my company is that as you guys may know, I don't know if you do know, if Heather mentioned it, but I have a child with autism. And one of the things I noticed about my child as I began to raise him is that he has such a desire to be on electronics. He loves electronics, even though his communication is a little bit, he has difficulty with communicating. He just loves electronics. So as a mom, and all of us who have special needs kids, we're always thinking about what is the long term? What is the long-term implication? What is he going to do when he becomes an adult? And working in the IT field, I've been getting to notice that a lot of my colleagues, I can tell based on how they are socially that they are somewhat on the autism spectrum. So what I decided to do is say, okay, how can this work for my child, the child that I'm raising who loves electronics? How would this be able to work? And so what I decided to do is just started teaching him how to program. My profession, what I do on my day job is programming. So I program in different computer languages. I build apps. I know how to build video games. And so I wanted to be able to give my son the tools that he needs to either work for himself or have a company, build out a company that he can come work for and enjoy what he loves to do. And so I would tell you that if you ever done any research about autism spectrum disorder, you'll notice that only 1% of the world's population has autism. 80% of those individuals are unemployed, and about 80% of them are unemployed, and only about, I would say, maybe half of that have minimum jobs or no jobs at all. So I wanted to be able to give my son a place to go where he can feel love and acceptance regardless of his disability. He can stay in an area where he's just concentrating on the things that he loves and not being bothered too much. And I figured that starting a technology company will give him that. And so that's how I launched. And my whole company is centered around acceptance, diversity, regardless of your gender, race, sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. I just believe, or your disabilities and abilities, I just believe in creating a company that everyone would feel accepted, and they would feel like it's their home. So that's how I got started. He was my push to get this company started, and I'll tell you that he's already launched his own programming YouTube video class, which is called K Grammar. He's 14, cool. And my other son, he's 7. So both of them have their own YouTube channel, KZ Grammar, where they're building out video games. And so that's where we are.
That is absolutely amazing. And say it one more time for the YouTube channel.
It's KZ Grammars, GRAMMERS.
Awesome. Okay. We'll pop that up on the video. Okay. Go follow and subscribe.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Follow and subscribe to them. It's so funny because and that's what they normally do. It is so funny. Recently we just finished a lot of the beginning level program, and so they actually getting ready to start in hardcore Java development, which is one of the most highly sought after jobs in the industry. So I've just purchased them 3 computers. We're setting up a computer lab upstairs in the game room, and so as a part of their learning, as a part of their daily learning, they have to work on a personal development task. So they always pick programming, either programming or music or playing the piano or playing an instrument, but programming is always their personal development activity that they would pick. So yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And for any of our moms out there who are looking for some COVID distance learning activities, maybe this would be a good get your kids on programming.
My 14-year-old who has autism,
I would tell you, it's amazing where I am. I am a single mom. I've been divorced. And when I started, I have 4 children. So I'm a single mom of 4 children, one with special needs. So you can imagine how my life can be. But I am the type of person that you have to take control over your life. You have to decide what it is that you want out of life and just go for it. So that's the type of person I am. And I try to take my kids on this journey with me. Just like I'm into programming, they're into programming. My daughter, who's my social butterfly, she's into anime. She's an artist. So to get her into what I'm doing, I'm purchasing her some anime software. And she was like, Mom, I just really want to build my anime. I just want to do my anime. So how I get the distance learning and add that piece into it, I'll say, okay, if I invest in the software, you have to learn it. So if I invest in a software, you have to learn it. And this is how much it's going to cost me to purchase the software. And that is how you add the learning piece. That is how you add. So we play Monopoly, and they learn how to create their business, KZ Grammars, through playing Monopoly. And so I'm just adding all these little elements, these life, experiences to their daily learning.
So that's amazing that they're getting a good early start, and that it is so interesting, because that really is where our future is.
Right.
Something
your kids are the ones that's going to be leading us when we're younger. Exactly. So we have to make sure that they are cognitive, their abilities are up to par, because they're going to be the ones.
Yeah. Something actually that struck me in what you were saying was that you didn't really, you did a lot of it with your son as kind of the motivation. You didn't see a clear path or road for him to take, and so you started creating one.
Yes.
I think that a lot of us women can relate to. If we don't see ourselves in an industry, then we make our own path, which is certainly scary and full of bumps along the way. So
it is. It is.
Is there maybe a couple stories that you could share with us of kind of examples of that, maybe where you didn't? Obviously, technology is a primarily male industry. And so did you see or experience any maybe bumps along the way for your own path into business?
I can tell you I have. As you can see, I'm African American. And I'm also a woman. And I actually started the programming back in 2001. And I came up here to work for Lockheed Martin as a Java developer. And then working in this industry up in the DC area, this is a defense industry. It's the military is everywhere here. And so I am a strong woman and I love my opinions and things like that. So I had to learn in this industry where it's male dominated to be a little bit softer. That's what I used to be told. They used to tell me, you have to soften up, you have to smile more. And those have always been a struggle for me because I used to be a little bit tomboyish, and it's just what I love basketball, I love sports, I love those types of things, but they really wanted to mold me into being the person that they wanted me to be so they can feel comfortable. And as I began to look and do some self-inventory, I realized that a lot of time people would diminish who you are as an individual so that they can feel powerful. And throughout my whole entire career, I actually dealt with that from a gender perspective as well as a race perspective. And so there's plenty of times I just had to close my mouth and not say anything and smile and try to work my magic else in other areas. Recently, I was let go from a job back in May because I reported that a guy who didn't like my input and correction sometimes that I would give during our meetings decided that he would cut me out from being able to do my work, remove my username and password remove my accounts from the system. Just really, he was targeting me. And so our manager at the time felt like I was being a little bit too, what's a good word, emotional by reporting it. And so their resolution to the issue was that let's just remove both of them because they can't get along. So throughout my career, instead of actually dealing with the issue or being able to clearly identify that you're being targeted either based on your race or your gender, I've actually had to, they would just let you go because Virginia is a right to work state and they have that right. So that has been one of my biggest struggles throughout my whole entire career. So I've learned in some cases I would report, in some cases I won't report, I'll just find another job.
Wow. And I think I personally working in government spaces have experienced that too, because a lot of times women are not expected to be at those high levels and in those discussions. And I've also experienced it based on my age. I'm a little too young to be taken seriously in those same rooms. Right. So, yeah.
Well, I think that makes it really even easier in some ways to move into your own realm, right? So to take your genius and say, okay, then I'm gonna do it my way, so that I'm not hampered by, those outside voices or whatever. But within that, especially when you're doing the kind of work that you're doing and even the kind of work you're doing, which seems at some level at first glance can seem more like masculine work. What do you do to make sure that your values and your the things that are important to you about how you do business, how do you integrate that into your company when you're a business owner yourself, if that makes sense at all? Like, how do you make sure that that translates to your potential clientele, so that at some level you either avoid getting in situations with clients who are going to treat you poorly or misunderstand what you stand for, who don't quite grasp your brilliance as a woman? How do you make that clear up front, short of saying those words, you know, I'm a woman, I'm not putting up with this, I'm compassionate, I might be emotional, you know, how do you do that? Does that even make sense?
The first thing that you have to do is get to know yourself. You cannot step out here in this industry and own your own business if you don't know what you stand for. And once you get to know yourself and you make that commitment to yourself, then that will actually communicate amongst the people that are around you, even those businesses who want to partner with you. It's very important for you to know yourself, know what you stand for, know what you're going to take. And if you do that, you have to always realize that just because one opportunity, the door closes and for one particular opportunity, it'll open up for another. I have learned to be really, really true to who I am, because if you're true to who you are, it's easy to sell your business. It's easy to sell who you are. But when you're trying to be somebody else or a different type of company, then you're basically reading what they said, or you're trying to articulate or say things to sell yourself based on what somebody else would say. So once you're true to yourself, then your values become true. And all of that matriculates down throughout your whole entire company. Everybody who encounter you would say, I know Ratisha, I know what she believes in. I am not going to try Ratisha like this because I know Ratisha. So it's it just kind of matriculates down and just really builds the culture. But you have to be true to who you are. And I found that a lot of business owners, and even when I first got started, I saw what I wanted to be, and that's what I tried to be, versus saying, you know what, this is my faults. These are the things I'm good at. These are the things I'm bad at. These are the things that I believe in. I believe in fair treatment of everyone, and I am not going to mistreat anyone for $1. It's not worth it. So I know for me, my conscience is the thing that gets me. So if I can't wake up the next day and be okay with any decisions that I make, then I won't make the decision. So that's what I've learned about myself.
That's really good.
Yeah, very good.
And I would say, you know, when I watch different business, YouTube videos, that is the common theme. And I didn't know that you were going to say that as your answer, but I've heard that over and over. And lots of women will say, you know, you think that that's not really part of building your business, or it feels like a waste of time or not connected, but it really is probably one of the biggest foundations. Because like you said, if you're not being authentic, then it's really hard to convince somebody else to buy what you're selling.
It is extremely hard, and they can see through that. Your people who you're trying to do business with can see through the fakeness, you know. So once you're true to who you are, it's easy to just navigate through this industry. It is very easy. I get calls every day, all day. Ratisha, can you partner with me? Ratisha, I've worked with you before. Ratisha, I know the type of person you are. Ratisha, can you help lead this project? I get calls every day. My phone, like I have it on silent right now. I've gotten, since this interview, about 4 calls. Because people have been able to experience me and they know exactly who I am and what I stand for. And I've just learned, the older I get, just not to compromise who you are for the sake of other people.
Right. Well, and that, what we haven't said yet, is that on top of this, you also have a nonprofit. And so people see your heart in the community because that's who you are as well. And so do you want to tell us a little bit about that, or like why you're doing both?
Yes. So I have a nonprofit organization which is called the Quad22 Foundation. And my nonprofit is centered around education, enrichment, community outreach, as well as mentoring and development. And so as I've grown to be the woman that I am today, I have always had a heart of giving. So for those who are trying to start their businesses, I incorporate who I am in everything that I do. And one of the things I've learned, and we talked about acceptance earlier, is to accept who I am. I am always going to be someone who gives back. That's just who I am. So even though I have a technology company, I'm still always giving back. So I've just incorporated that into both of my businesses. So Quad22 Technologies is my for-profit business. Quad22 Foundation is my nonprofit. And so what I do there, I actually have women, young ladies, and right now I mostly have young ladies that I mentor, and I try to help develop them from where they are to get them going in their careers. And I've also learned that as I'm developing them, that there's a gap of children, or I would say young adults, that are not reached. And that gap is usually from the age of 16 to 23, 24. Because normally by the time a child gets reached 18, they kind of age out of everything. And so those kids and young adults are just left trying to figure out, what do I do in life? And parents like us, we tend to say, oh, you're 18. Go out there and be all you can be. And so my organization takes that age group, and focus on that age group and try to help develop them and mentor them to the next phase of complete adulthood.
I love that. And I have to say, I've met some of her mentees, and she's being articulate about it, but very humble. A lot goes into it, and
it's a lot. Yeah,
it's changed the trajectory for
of so
multiple
many
people. Yeah, which
so
will lead down for generations.
One of my mentees, you haven't met her yet. You'll probably get a chance to meet her soon, but she actually met me. I used to do a lot of community service work at James Monroe High School. And so when she met me, she was a junior at the time, junior. And she was like, Miss Ratisha, I've never seen a Black woman in IT before. And I was like, what? You know, because when I'm talking to my girls, I'm like very hip, you know. So I'm like, what? And so I began to talk to her. She was like, I was going into nursing. I wanted, my mom told me to go into nursing. You just don't see too many Black females into IT. And so she pulled me aside one day and she said, Miss Ratisha, I just love technology. I love technology. Wow. So after she was like, I just want to go into technology. So I've actually been mentoring her. She changed her career. She's from another country, but she changed her career. And so her parents were pissed at her. They was like, no, you need to go into, she's from Ghana. Her parents was like, no, you need to go into nursing, because nursing is where the medicine. And medicine, but IT is where the money is as well. So I've kind of coached her through that transition. And so hopefully pretty soon, as I'm building my company, I'm creating what is soon to be a job for her as well.
That's so cool.
And I trust her because I mentored her. I'm just playing.
No, that's good. I think that's fantastic.
That is amazing. And you just, I don't know, you are just extremely motivational. Yes. And I feel like just being around you, you have this kind of feeling that you could do anything. So yeah,
you can do anything. One of my greatest quotes that I always hold dear to me is from Wayne Dyer. He says, have a mind that is open to everything but attached to nothing. A lot of the things that hold us back is that we're attached to a particular idea that I can't do this. You're a single mom like myself. You're a single mom, 4 kids. Who want to help you? How are you going to have the time? And so for many years, I attached myself to that because that's the stigma that society wants us to have about women who are single women. But when I attached it, I had to basically tear down and challenge my whole belief. The belief that I had of myself in order to progress. And I would tell you, there's one thing that I can't live with. We were talking about earlier, things that you can't live with. If I say that I'm going to do something and I don't do it, I beat myself up real, real bad about it. So I had to learn to stop that. So in that mindset, it just helped me to realize that, look, I have been stagnant for so many years because I've been attached to the idea of what society say I am, what I can accomplish, and what I can't accomplish. And so once I was able to tear that idea out, challenge my belief, I've been able to do whatever it is I said I wanted to do. And I began to say to myself, money would no longer be an issue for me. And I would say that every day, money is just not an issue for me. And before I even had money, I would say money would no longer be an issue for me. So those are the things that I began to do to work on myself, to build myself, tear myself down, and rebuild my foundation the right way. So I had to do that for myself.
Wow, that's so good. And I'm sure everybody on this call needed to hear that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And women, like you said, I think women especially tend to beat themselves up over not being able to do the 3, 4, 5 jobs that full-time jobs that we put on ourselves excellently. So that is really great. I'm
reading a book, and I shared it with Heather, and I shared it with you guys. It's by Mark. I forgot his last name, but it's The Subtle Art. Can I say the word? It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And so, which is a pretty good book, and it takes a totally different mindset of everything. And one of the things that I've learned recently that sometimes you can work too hard because you just I just want to be successful. But if you ever notice, like in your life, those who don't really work that hard, they end up obtaining a whole lot more. So it's like changing. It's like having a paradigm shift in your mind, not actually focusing so much attention on I got to get this, and just living. It's going to come to you. As long as you continue to put the positive energy out in the atmosphere, it's going to come to you. But you just have to stay steady, and keep chipping away at it until you actually obtain it.
Wow, so good. So thank you so much for spending some time with us. We have 2 last questions. The first is speaking to the women entrepreneurs who will be watching this. What could you, if you were to give them one piece of advice anywhere that they are in their business, what would you say to them?
Oh, I have a lot. The one piece of advice I would tell anybody, if you're contemplating something, you're contemplating an idea, you're contemplating whether or not you should get started, I always say just do it. Don't put too much thought into it, because a lot of times you would think yourself out of $1 billion. You would think yourself out of $1 million. You would think yourself out of the opportunity to be able to reach so many people. So if there's any advice, I would say just do it. If you fail, let it. Then try something else. It's okay to fail, because those experiences teaches us how to move forward in life. So if there's any advice, if you're contemplating something, if you're wondering whether or not you should try this idea or that idea, just do it and see what happens.
Wow, so good, so good. And then the last thing we'd love to hear, because we are definitely a group that is encouraging each other to dream not just big, but bigger. So we would love to hear, what do you see next for your business and nonprofit? Any big plans or goals that you have?
So I will tell you, I am looking forward to becoming a multi-millionaire, so I can help as many people as I want to help. My whole IT business is about helping people. So in order to help people, you need the money. So I am looking forward to being this millionaire, even a billionaire, so I can reach and change as many lives as possible.
I love that. And I think that's encouraging for a lot of women to hear, because sometimes we have that money block of thinking it's not ladylike to quote unquote desire money, when the reality is most of us who want to attract money, it's for that very purpose, because we want to use it to better our lives, our children's lives, our families, our friends, the people around us, So that's beautiful.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for spending this morning with us.
We could just talk all day. You're amazing.
We could.
It's no problem. No, it's no problem.
Yeah, thanks for your time. But you have to get off and answer all those calls of people wanting to partner with you now.
Okay, thank you guys. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. I will see you early in the morning.
Right.
Bye.
And you need to join us, Shelly.
Yes, she
Yes,
does.
I
She's
know.
coming.
Okay.
All right, I'm
Talk to
gonna
you later.
All right, so we.